Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea news. Chelsea are looking for a full-time manager, a new coach, one that commands respect, will be interested in the long-term project while playing youngsters and hopefully attractive football. The two front runners are, of course, Julian Nagelsmann and Luis Enrique. Both have been interviewed, both are coming in for more interviews, and it looks like one of these two respective coaches will manage Chelsea. Today, we're talking about Luis Enrique. He's in London currently talking to Chelsea. He's very interested in getting the job. We'll reference an article from Miguel, Delaney. We'll look at some stats, because we all love that. And maybe talk a little bit more about the big man behind Chelsea, the truth, as that long read on The Athletic described. So thanks for joining me today. Let's see how many likes we can get. Let's crank up a few likes. Just click the button. It just takes a millisecond for you, and it offers a lifetime of happiness for me. Yeah? Like and subscribe, huh? Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I did not do a post-match presser of the game yesterday. I was able to watch it, but due to where it was, I wasn't able to watch it close enough. I looked at the stats. It looked very, very similar to how we've just been playing under Graham Potter. I think we got 2.5 XG, no goals. It seems like a lot of people were upset with Kai Havertz's performance in terms of missing chances, which fair enough. I can understand that, and I sympathise with that greatly. Feel free to comment on that down below so I can gauge the fan opinion about the performance. But I think the big positive from that game, from the story, is essentially what I said in my previous upload, how Bruno, or the one before, how Bruno can get wins, starting the midfield partnership of Kante and Enzo, which he did. Kante got, he was never going to play 90 minutes from his first start. He started and looked very, very good, and that is the big takeaway from that game. Indeed, we played a three-man midfield, which is sort of, which against Liverpool, I've got no issue with. Although the last 4 or 5 games of Liverpool has been 0-0. It's tragic, really, isn't it? It should not be like that. So it is what it is. We need to get a manager in. That's going to give us the tingly excitement feels, and then see what those managers want to do. I feel like maybe both Nagelsmann and certainly Luis Enrique, who we're talking about in today's video, will play a 4-3-3. So let's get into that. Well, Miguel Delaney of The Independent writes this: Luis Enrique is travelling to London, since arriving in London, I think, when this was published, for further talks, which of course implies already having some talks with Chelsea, after impressing in initial discussions with the club. The 52-year-old, who left the Spain international job after the World Cup, is said to have successfully sold a clear vision for the team. Interesting indeed. Luis Enrique explained his high intensity and high pressing approach, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, works very well in Premier League football. That especially fits the young players that Chelsea have brought in. So, just breaking that down, he's clearly pitched his ideas, his plan, his vision for this Chelsea team, for his style of play, for these actual players, and explained to, I'm assuming, I think Badad Iqbali's in London at the moment, but I'm assuming, he'll pitch this to the think tank, or maybe not Vivell, but Lawrence Stewart and Paul Winstanley and stuff like that. He'll pitch it to them and say, look, this is what I want to do. You guys are footballing directors. You guys know what kind of profile players I've got here. You guys know about the Premier League, and I think I can make this work by doing this. To which they've gone, ooh, we are impressed. Good job, Luis Enrique. The club have been previously interested in the former Barcelona coach before, but Both his wage demands and comparative lack of English put the club off amid other choices. Luis Enrique has been working on the language though, and the current hierarchy are sufficiently interested by his technical idea. The former midfielder also has the benefit of being the only candidate currently being considered to have won the Champions League after his 14-15 treble. With Barcelona, of course, said treble is what I've been referencing in previous videos. Saying, look, they don't necessarily... If you read that big read on The Athletic, even though the players liked Potter, perhaps there wasn't the sort of respect of him as a winner. You can't argue with a guy who has won the treble with Barcelona. He has also, of course, managed other, European teams like Roma and is it Celta Vigo? I think, of course, the Spain national team. He didn't do too well with them, but he's high profile, one of the most high profile as they come. While there is confidence from Spain that Luis Enrique can be the next Chelsea manager, the club are insistent that they are not close to a decision. Luis Enrique is travelling with his former Barcelona teammate, Ivan de la Pena, who is now his agent. So, Luis Enrique in London speaking to Chelsea. I believe Miguel Delaney also commented on this, giving his opinion, saying he actually thinks Luis Enrique would be the best choice for Chelsea and believes that Julian Nagelsmann would represent risk. And I probably would tend to agree. Of course, Julian Nagelsmann is like, he remains the hipster's choice. You go the young guy, long-boarded into training at Bayern Munich, which the hierarchy didn't actually like very much. He won the Bundesliga with Bayern, but, I'm pretty sure you there, you could win the Bundesliga with Bayern. They've won the last 10 in a row or something. Look, he's a great coach, and people would find a way to be excited about both. But is Julian Nagelsmann going to come in and find a way to relentlessly win with a super talented squad in what is the hardest league in the world? I think all bets are off, really. Let's have a look at this graphic to show you some context of Luis Enrique. Bang! So, Pep Guardiola generally hit the ground running as Barcelona manager, and you could argue he laid the groundwork to make them a great, great side, but remember, Enrique's Barcelona was incredible. Opta and Sky Sports providing this graphic. In their first 100 games, Enrique and Guardiola, as you can see here, Enrique won 80 games comparing to Guardiola's 71. He drew less, he lost less, he scored like 60 more goals and conceded 4 less as well. So a comprehensively better stats because better across the board. Of course, Luis Enrique enjoyed managing the MSN, the Messi, Suarez, Neymar front three, arguably the best front three in history. So they are going to score a lot of goals, and they're going to win you a lot of games. But the truth is, you've still got to win, and good players don't always just work, as we've seen from all kinds of teams, whether it's PSG, whether it's Man United of late, and indeed, whether it's Chelsea of late. But make no bones about it, Chelsea have a very, very talented squad of football players. And for a truly experienced manager who wants technical footballers, he'll look at that and think, yeah, I fancy that, I can do that. And he'll have the authority, the presence of mind to be like, sell these guys, use these guys, let's friggin' go. And he's not here to muck about. He's not here to muck about. He's here to win. He will know he had those, stats. He will know that he spent time relentlessly winning, managing a club side. And he will know he's got the resources to essentially do what he wants at Chelsea to a degree. Obviously, financial fair play is going to come in, but in terms of the raw materials he has and the talent that's already there, And if he is ruthless in terms of telling the club to sell certain players, he will, of course, generate more revenue to maybe top up the squad with the kind of players he wants to finish his vision. Apparently, he's a really nice chap, Luis Enrique. And if his English is good now, or, good enough, I mean, we were being linked with him was it before Tuchel, I suppose? No, because he sort of came in very quick. I can't remember where we were being linked to him. Point being, I do remember speaking about it and him wanting really high wages. And actually a few clubs had reservations about his wage demands. Whether his wage demands are still that high, to be honest, personally, I don't think that's going to be an issue. If we made Graham Potter the 4th highest paid manager in football, only behind Guardiola, Klopp and Simeone, then I'm sure Luis Enrique will be okay with whatever we pay him. So let me know what you think of Luis Enrique, those stats, and everything I've spoken about, and comment down below on that. Now, I mentioned he's probably also talking to Badad Iqbali in London, because though Todd Boley isn't currently in London, Badad is, and he was involved with the Potter dismissal. Now, I want to talk about this because the Athletics, this is something that Simon Johnson has said before on the Athletic when he's referenced how integral Badad was in the January negotiations for player transfers. Like, he was fought for 24 hours to get Mudryk. Apparently, the more they dug, the Athletic journalists, the more they found out that Todd Boley really is, like I said at the beginning of this ownership, the sort of shaking hands, kissing babies guy. Todd Boley owns a very small percentage of Chelsea Football Club. Clear Lake Capital, which is like the juice, they own 60-65% of Chelsea, by far and away the majority shareholders of Chelsea Football Club. And of course there's Jose Feliciano, but really, in terms of the mood, that essentially the Roman Abramovich of Chelsea is Badad Iqbali, which I found really interesting. I think much like Abramovich, Chelsea's previous owner, I reckon he probably doesn't want to be in the public eye that much, though he does do a few business-related press conferences and he will talk. In terms of the guy that's holding a beer, chatting to fans, sort of knocking about and this, that and the other, and doing the odd interview, excuse me, is Todd Boley. And I wonder, and I actually reckon that is by design. He is a bit more, media savvy, the kind of guy that likes to be in and amongst it. And actually, when you got your Jamie Carragher's, when you got your Gary Neville's on Sky Sports criticising Chelsea, the new ownership model, and they just say Todd Boley, it's like, what's Todd Boley doing? He's throwing his way around, he's playing Football Manager, scattergun. He's made himself sporting director, Todd Boley. And to be honest, the ownership model and, individuals like Badad Iqbali, who are largely the decision makers and largely the money men and probably well, by all accounts from the Athletic, the big dog, he's probably like, yeah. And Todd's probably like, yeah, I'll be the target. No worries. Let them chat breeze about me. He probably owns 5 to 10% of Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? Todd Boley. But he's the face, and it's probably, maybe it's just part of the model. Give them a face to shout at. And it's not the face, but it's going to work for us, which I actually found really, really interesting, and I wanted to talk about. It's important to note, because if he indeed is in London and was part of the sacking process for Potter, then there's a very good chance that he also is part of the hiring process of potentially Luis Enrique. So there we have it. Let me know what you think, guys. Once again, I thank you all for joining me. I do appreciate your presence here on my content, and I'd urge you to do the sweet, sweet interactions. Liking, subscribing, and making sure one's pressed that bell notifications icon bell, so you never miss a beat from me, your dear sweet friend Jan. Yes, fellas, ladies, look after yourselves. I've lost focus on my face. We're back. I'll see you very soon. Peace.